Hello everyone! Welcome to another Beauty and the War topic video. Since my last video was received rather well, I decided to make another that will delve into the lore of Beauty and the War. Yeah, that was a pretty epic rhyme, huh? Anyhow, in this video I will discuss possible theories, post thought-provoking questions, and expand upon some of the subtle subjects mentioned in the game's update. Be warned, because there will be possible spoilers ahead. So, just how extensive will the final game be? And is it going to encompass much more than we expect? We'll have to wait for the answer with anticipation. Just like we have to wait like 10 years for the last season of Game of Thrones to air.
We've been here for some time.
My apologies.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, one surefire thing a good fantasy story has is this: an equally epic map displaying the landscape of which its adventurous tale unfolds. For Game of Thrones, we are taken to many different places, creating many smaller stories within the major one. In another epic saga that I love, Lord of the Rings / The Hobbit, we have Middle-earth. Now, I'm going to compare this journey in particular to Beauty and the War, and use it to tie in with a theory that I have. But first, let's take a look at Virgo Island for a second. We're not exactly sure how large to scale it is, but it's definitely bigger than your sandbar island with a single palm tree. This island is large enough to sustain several groups of peoples. It has at least, and I stress that for a reason that I will disclose later on, 7 clans that we know of that live there. I included the dwindling Kukui clan in that number. In the first version of the demo, that was all we knew of. Yes, Ambrosia was locked behind a door as she peeked through the keyhole, but that could have been somewhere on Virgo Island for all we know. Now, with the recent update, we know this is not the case. Ambrosia is revealed to being held captive in some highly guarded prison with criminals of all kinds. People we have never heard of before, like the Scarlatina gang, the Wardens, even X, are the people she now shares her living space with. This place is nothing like Virgo Island, and there is no mention of anyone from any clan we were previously familiar with actually being there. So, this leads to a very important question. Where exactly is this prison?
Where's the X? Supposed to be right here, 10,000 paces east.
Oh, east? I thought you said west.
West? What kind of compass are you reading, lad?
This one, sir.
That's west, Patrick.
Now, there are a few possibilities with this. One, the prison could be in a completely different world or dimension. After all, Ambrosia does say this when X asks her what she was imprisoned for.
Anyway, ladies first. How did you really end up locked up here? What'd you do?
I don't know.
Wrong answer. You know I'm not the jury, right? You don't have to pretend that you were asleep when the crime took place or that the dog ate your homework. You're already in and no one's judging.
It's the truth. I don't know how I arrived in this place. I just woke up here.
Seriously, woman? Okay, then what were you doing before you woke up and discovered your brand new home?
I opened a door.
If this is the case, then I will share some thoughts about this possibility. In the Valentine's Day specials, the group does travel through some kind of wormhole to Earth, implying that they are from another dimension. This could make sense, as Poison Apple Tales has stated that Blanket Guy is a character from Beauty and the War existing in another universe. Also, after the group returns to Virgo Island, Ambrosia seems to be the only one to remember the journey according to Onyx.
Oh! Is the forest of Virgo Island? We're back home?
Yes, everyone is back home. You're the last to awake. They have no memory of our time on Earth.
They don't?
Bear in mind now that Ambrosia, along with the other Phoenix, do have heightened mental powers. They have the power of telekinesis, but what if it doesn't stop there? What if they also have the power to teleport?
Ready to beam up, Jim? Energizing.
If Ambrosia has the power to teleport through doors, then Snow White may not be the only fairy tale princess she can be compared to anymore. We know of another who can travel to different lands and places by falling into quote-unquote holes and opening doors.
Curiosity often leads to trouble. Goodbye, Dinah. Goodbye.
This may mean that she somehow teleported herself to the prison she's now trapped within, and could also explain why she was adorned with the golden mask. In the game, X mentions that the earrings he wears only restrict his power to a degree, but not completely. However, with Ambrosia, the mask subdues her abilities entirely. Is this because the wardens discovered that she could escape through teleportation? But that's just the thing. Ambrosia couldn't have teleported to the prison itself, because X also mentions this little tidbit.
First off, the wardens gave all of us here something to suppress our abilities. Like my earrings, see? Each one has varying degrees of suppression. Your mask of shiny gold lace, that one suppresses 100% of your abilities. Second of all, you're the only one still in chains, and believe me, that's no oversight on the warden's part. Last but not least, this is a prison for only the worst of the worst. The creme de la creme, you could say. And every criminal here had to have gone through the arena. You went through it too, I'm sure. I'm sure you're aware that only the survivors make it here. Only the victors. You might look like a frail, delicate little princess, but everything about you screams danger.
Yes, before these prisoners even got here, they had to face whatever lies within this arena. Where is this arena in relation to the prison? What sorts of trials and tribulations did these prisoners have to undergo? This place may serve as a dual purpose. One, to obviously weed out the weaker criminals, possibly to prevent overcrowding. If this prison is for, as X claims, the worst of the worst, then those who fall short will perish before even reaching captivity. Second purpose, however, is probably to determine what measures and levels of security the wardens will have to exercise on each individual that passes through it. What restrictions are enough to prevent them from becoming a serious threat? For Ambrosia's case, if they witness the extent of her mental abilities, it may have been here that it was determined that she wears the golden mask.
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
Of course, this is all speculation, and we won't know any more until a new update. As for the location of the prison in relation to Virgo Island, the other possibility may be that it does exist within the same realm as Virgo Island. Perhaps Virgo Island is simply so far away from any other body of land that it either has not been discovered yet or is virtually unknown. This could be supported by this phrase that Ambrosia says to X before beginning her story.
I'll convince you that Virgo Island exists.
Tall order. Can't say I'll be placing any money on you, but consider your challenge accepted.
Either way, there's also evidence that Virgo Island isn't the only location within Beauty and the War. Listen to what Wynn says in this clip when he's featured in a video with Chase.
What is it with you and birthdays? We don't even call it that on Virgo Island. Isn't that a mainlander term?
I don't know. I just have birthdays on the brain.
So, could the prison exist within another kingdom entirely? Does it perhaps serve as a facility to house criminals from any location within the realm? Could it be that this quote-unquote mainland holds many other people and civilizations? Maybe Ambrosia meant to travel to another kingdom, but got stuck along the way. If that's the case, then what did she need to leave Virgo Island for? Is Ambrosia going to ultimately embark on some sort of epic quest?
I'm going on an adventure!
Remember I mentioned earlier that I would compare Beauty and the War to Lord of the Rings? Imagine this for a second. What if Virgo Island is like the Shire, a place where Ambrosia's journey begins, and she discovers that far many other places exist outside of it? You may have noticed that I've used some Kingdom Hearts clips in this video. It's because you can arguably compare Ambrosia's theorized circumstances to this game as well. Think about it. The game is about traveling to different worlds through a quote-unquote door, meeting inhabitants who have no idea who you are and where you're from, and you are required to learn about that world and work with said inhabitants in order to salvage it from dark forces. Just how far will Ambrosia go for love, or perhaps something else entirely?
Kairi! Sora!
what you said before? I'm always with you too. I'll come back to you. I promise.
I know you will!
It would be pretty interesting if we saw Ambrosia pick up a Keyblade and start fighting a horde of Heartless, wouldn't it? But that is not her story. Her tale is just beginning, and we just have to wait for the next turn of the page to see what comes next. There is still a lot to speculate when it comes to Virgo Island. We know that the time between the first act and present day is about 4 to 5 years. A lot can happen within that amount of time, and it's possible that she could become a part of something much greater than herself. Remember I also mentioned earlier that we know of at least 7 clans? There are subtle hints that there may be even more that inhabit Virgo Island. One is mentioned when the topic of Rosemary's hair color comes up. Jasmine teases her and says she does this to copy the Fae. We have no idea who the Fae are or what role they play in the story. Are they another clan? Are they mythical creatures? Are they the ones whose airy singing is carried upon the breeze at night, as Ambrosia mentions at the conclusion of day 1? If not, then what is that all about anyway? And why do the peoples of Virgo Island, quote, pretend not to hear it? The way this story is set up opens many doors to infinite possibilities. No pun intended. After all, we have the Omugi, who supposedly have animal blood coursing through their veins. Who knows what other fantastical or nightmarish creatures and peoples may exist out there? One of the headlines for the game is, "They say men have gone to war for a woman." But if something nightmarish does indeed exist within this world, a monster that not even the prison Ambrosia finds herself in cannot contain, then perhaps it may just be this that unites men against a common enemy. Either way, one thing is for certain. Ambrosia is the key to all the doors, and as the players, we will ultimately unlock them alongside her. As I wrap this up, I want to thank everyone who's watched this video. So, what do you think? Does Ambrosia have the power to teleport? Can she travel to other worlds and universes? Will she find love and perhaps something else along the way? As I asked in the beginning, just how extensive will this game ultimately be? Leave your thoughts in a comment, and don't forget to check out Poison Apple Tales' pages for updates. I will leave links to their Tumblr and YouTube channel in the description. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!